And hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another show. One moment, please. There we go. I got it. I'm still playing around with this this back and forth between the different viewers that are available here. Screens that I have to put up. So please forgive me about that. Now I'm showing one screen. I'm just confirming what I'm seeing on my screen here. And if I switch over here, I want to switch. Oh, maybe it's this one. Yeah, this one. So let me see what is being viewed here. All right. Well, now can I go back? No. See, that's the thing. Once I switch, I can't flip screens. It's supposed to be able to do that. The software upgrade has stopped that. I guess they're gonna have to fix it. All right. Well, welcome. I'm Dan Lutz, and this is another broadcast on WWG1WGA.Love Frontlines, where we're on the front lines against the deep state cabal and the Lumadonkeys and all others that want to enslave humanity to a debt-based slavery system, as well as many other things. But we're been doing QAnon updates, but Q is quiet at the moment. I would expect that we'll see something coming from Q shortly, but I think the quiet is strategic. You know, before things happen, it's a 24-hour warning. So we don't know what was going on, what's supposed to happen, but there are things happening. One thing I want to point out is the shooting that took place in El Paso, Texas. You know, I've been catching up on that. They have apprehended the shooter, and many people have died. And you know, I feel really sad for this, and I'm sure all my prayers go out to the family members and all their friends and to the community to suffer through this. And I'm hoping that it doesn't turn out to be something that is prompted by a foxtrot, as Sir Patrick Mack likes to call it. You know, these staged events to distract from what's going on. So Q had given us a warning that was basically saying that we're I just realized I have the wrong screen up. All right. Well, anyway, why don't I do this? Let me switch this over here to the Q maps. I believe we're still going to be able to see that. Let me just check. Yes, all right. Here on July 31st, 24-hour warning, be vigilant, see something, say something, know your surroundings at all times. So, you know, August is going to be a very hot month, and we're just a few days in, and we have a shooting like this. And we can go back to the others and say that, have they been on the truly what the representation of the mainstream media has shown us, or have they been staged? And regrettably, I feel that they're mostly staged. And anytime something like this comes up, and again, my sympathies are for the parents and the family and friends, the whole community that suffers through this. But we have to question whether or not this is being pushed forward by some sort of MK Ultra mind control system, energy weapons for voice of God technology from satellites, because they want to distract, get things off the table that people are talking about. Now, we haven't seen anything that's so dramatic other than, Comey not having his leaked memos prosecuted. But that is obviously more, would be included in a much bigger suit than going against Comey. So, has there been other things that have occurred that we don't know about? Q is quiet. So, there are signs of things happening. There was a run on the banks in France. There were military operations that I picked up, reports about. So there may be things happening that we're not seeing and Q's quiet about. So we may see something coming about on this topic. But I'm going to suggest we kind of change some topics and start talking about some of the front lines of what we can look forward to as we move forward in an abundance-based world. So let me go ahead and bring up what I had that vehicle up here. I wanted to show you this. Where is it at? Here it is. So this is a solar car. It's cost a bit much, but that's fine for the moment. They're starting. That's the starting point. Let's look at this. Business Insider, solar panels.
This is the LightYear 1, an all-electric luxury car that, according to its creators, can drive almost 500 miles on a single charge. Compare that to the average electric car that gets around 190 miles, and even Tesla's top Model S that manages an impressive 370. So how is 500 miles possible? It's because of these. The LightYear 1 is powered by the sun, using 54 square feet of solar panels covering the roof and hood. And LightYear's 29-year-old CEO thinks his car can change the electric car market.
Beautiful looking car.
While the LightYear 1 is first and foremost a plug-in electric vehicle that can fast charge up to 354 miles worth of energy within an hour, its self-charging capability could find certain owners rarely even needing to plug their car in. The sun can add up to an additional 7.5 miles each hour to the vehicle's total range. In ideal conditions, its solar panels can generate over 12,000 miles worth of energy in a year. The car is set to hit production lines in 2021 and is available for pre-order now. The One's manufacturer, Dutch startup company LightYear, was founded in 2016 by former members of a team of engineering students whose solar-powered vehicles won the Bridgestone World Solar Challenge race in 2013, 2015, and 2017. We asked the company's ambitious CEO, Lex Hoofsloot, to answer this question for us. Why solar power?
So we set out to design a car that kind of completely eliminates range anxiety. What we realized that there are two energy sources on Earth you can use, and that's either the sun and at the same time ordinary power sockets. And then the other part is that you have guaranteed clean energy because you cannot guarantee that the energy that comes from the power plugs is really clean. What happened in 2016 is that we realized that the industry was still not really considering getting these types of cars to the market. And we saw huge potential on one hand because of what we've done, of course, but also that the technology that we were using was improving dramatically every year.
According to the company, the LightYear 1's battery alone is capable of up to 450 miles of driving range. On a sunny day, those solar panels will net you an additional 35 to 47 miles. Even faced with zero sunlight, heavy winds, and below freezing temperatures that require the heating on the entire time, LightYear still guarantees around 250 miles of range. But while the LightYear 1's maximum driving range far surpasses that of even Tesla's top model, the car's 4 electric motors definitely won't keep up with the Model S. However, Lex says the car was never built to be a speed demon, trading fast acceleration time for faster road trips.
We really focused on making sure that people get from A to B as quick as possible, and therefore we needed super efficient motors. These super efficient motors, they require less torque than a normal car because we have 4 of them and we have less weight of the car. So the main purpose of the car is not to be as quick as possible at the traffic light, but to be as quick as possible to your destination.
Although LightYear's efforts toward renewable energy are admirable, the general public has still been hesitant to adopt basic electric vehicles. Where in the car market do solar-powered cars even fit?
So what we believe is that this is a solution that will work for some markets. So electric cars that have quite a large battery and need charging infrastructure, and we see it as the second wave of electric cars. So electric cars that are just much more efficient. They will really help to get us to complete electrification of the whole fleet.
LightYear is taking pre-orders now for the first 500 cars, for a reservation price of about $135,000. When the car finally hits Netherlands production lines in 2021, the price is expected to start at about $170,000. Despite the expensive cost, Lex isn't worried, as the price of solar technology continues to drop, which should eventually allow LightYear to launch cheaper models.
It's a magical concept, right? That you have an independent entity that charges itself, and then when you come back to the car, it's charged again. And it's really cool to see people's reactions. They actually like the fact that we kind of combine the advantage of a combustion car with that of an electric car. So it might be the first electric car for them. And that for me is maybe the biggest goal.
Okay, so this is a vehicle that actually seems practical other than the price, right? Because you're able to charge up within an hour, right? And you can then get on the road. So if you drive somewhere, and wherever you drive to it charges, you're then able to go ahead and move into your car and then move to the next place. Let me stop this for a moment. Sorry, still getting this down. So, with electric vehicles, we're able to rely on electricity, right, and not the burning of fossil fuels, which is saving, pollution. I'm not really worried at all about global warming because it is a fallacy. It really is. Not that we don't have weather changes, we do. But the idea that CO2 generates, greenhouse gases that in turn, heat up the planet, it's proven is not true. That's why they've switched to say, oh, now it's just climate change. Of course, it's climate change. It's weather. CO2 is not a pollutant. It is a very small fraction of our atmosphere. And when there is more, then the plants create oxygen. This is not a problem. But they want to charge people for breathing, give you a tax for breathing. Because why? Well, you deserve it because you're breathing. You're bad for living, right? The whole world, in their view, must depopulate, right? This death culture presents everything that is against life as positive. And this is something that we have to change. So when we look at things like this electric vehicle, and that it's, we should see the benefits of it, but not look at it from, we need to have this because of CO2. It eliminates problems with CO2. No. This is everything to do with using things other than fossil fuels, which is fine. And there's also no problem with fossil fuels other than the pollution that they generate, which can be, also, worked better. It may be better to produce electric energy and control all of the emissions and clean those emissions than to allow each individual car to produce emissions. All right, but these solutions, we have to have a proper idea of exactly what the issue is, not false issues, not CO2 as a pollutant. That's a false issue. The real issue is pollution, right? That is generated, which is like carbon monoxide. Now that is actually, something that harms people. You can die from it. If you breathe in CO2, you're not going to die from it, right? But you will die from the carbon monoxide poisoning. Right? The CO2 is not going to aid you in breathing, but it's also not going to affect you negatively. There's CO2 in the air that we breathe. So we have to be focused on the real problems, not fake problems. We talked about this letter yesterday. I think we were talking about this letter with Tank yesterday from the FBI, basically labeling free speech as terrorists, people who are speaking, which they deem to be a conspiracy theory, relying on such reliable sources as Snopes and Wikipedia. Listen, I like Wikipedia, concept-wise, but it is control. There is people that are set up to go in and change things when they don't like what is said. They can, you ever heard the expression, the victors write the history? Well, in their book, they've won, right? They control all information, except for this little sliver of advanced media that we're part of. So they're writing things that are to, again, make us believe things that are not true. It is actually their goal, the stated goal of the CIA. Like the clowns in America, right? So when we see that there's so much potential and positive things. Look, this was a 29-year-old CEO. I remember what it was to be a CEO at 29. You're taking on the world. You're doing everything. You're moving. Boom, 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 making things happen. He made this happen. He saw. He engineered it. He went after it, and he did it. You can order these vehicles. Now, it may be a little bit high price right now, but that will come down. That happened to Tesla as well. The price of the Teslas were $250,000. I think actually maybe $500,000 the first ones. But it was just this overall push to do something and build something good that benefits everybody. And that's what we have to focus on. So we have a lot of things to basically talk about in regards to benefit that are happening, the things that are happening with the trust and the banks contacting Stephen. Right, this is a big deal, right? That it doesn't mean that the funds are released next week, maybe even not next month, but the conversation is there and a deal. Now maybe it's much faster than we think. I still think it overall strategically in the world that we must look at what's happening with the cabal. Who's standing in our way of getting access to these funds? It is the cabal. It is the deep state. So there is a war being waged against the deep state. The deep state is a worldwide government that exists in the shadows from the average person. Everyone in every country believes their country is in control where they're at. And yes, there's the UN, and they make some statements, and they have some efforts, and they kind of just say, okay, right? And you kind of just let it slide. But there is a much bigger influence there, and they were set and ready to go to provide a much bigger role in every country's life. Now we've seen the blue helmets go into countries for under the UN umbrella, right? Blue helmets for these soldiers. We don't really associate the UN with banking, but it's very much tied in. The whole financial system is based around this concept of the United Nations, the World Bank, the IMF, because this is where the countries would get money. Look at Fiji. What did they do? They went and said, "Hey, we need money," but there's no money for them or for any of the other countries. Unless they're engaged in some sort of commerce, the spigot has been turned off. And it wasn't flowing very fast anyway, but now there's not even a drip coming out. The spigot is dry. Time to dig a new well. Or at least down to where the actual source is, and bypass, the trash that is built up in the well over the last 50, 60 years. So we see that we are moving forward in a very positive way, and we're making headway. All right, let me now switch around here. I'm gonna go ahead and go to our chat room, see how things are going there, and we'll answer some questions. And I'll also give you the link to come into the chat. Here's the first part. This is the web link. You can join by clicking on that and join the Zoom meeting. It always has that space between there. And then here's the next part, which is just for the phone numbers and how you can get through. One more time, the web link without the join meeting. I don't know if that interferes with clicking on it or not. All right, so there you go. You have that. I'm going to also post that in the Telegram group. See if we can snag another volunteer. Oh, that's 18 new posts there. Okay, I posted it there. You're welcome to join me. And let me go ahead now and see if I can now view the page. Hello, everybody. Who's joined in? Well, Kim. Which Kim is it? Oh, you're muted. 1 second. I'll let me unmute you. Okay. Oh. No, it doesn't show mute, so you're not muted. Ah. So that was Kim. I don't know which Kim. It'll be interesting to see if Kim decides to call in. Well, let me go back to what I was setting up there, is to kind of view our chat room. Oh, coming back in. Now it's Brian. Hello, Brian. I've unmuted you. Hello, Brian. Hello, Brian. No. Not making it through. Oh, well. Well, at least we're having some attempts to people come on. I don't know why people are not hearing. I'm not hearing the people come through. So now get back to over here, and let me see if I can again set up this to where we're going to show the page. We're on here. There we go. All right, let me go ahead up. And again, thank you both Kim and Brian for popping in. Sorry I couldn't hear you. I don't know what that's all about. Okay, Erin is saying, question, Dan, there is quite a confusion following you these days. What is the exact number or description of tonight's show? Well, this is Frontlines. It showed up initially as Dank 153 or something like that. Maybe it was 154. And that's just because, I had to set up something ahead of time that I didn't do. Right? It was something I forgot to do. So this is Frontlines. I'm not on the other channel simulcasting because there's a problem there. I did some experiments with a couple of other my Gmail YouTube accounts, and so I have a problem doing a simulcast that way. So anyway, since people seem to be able to find this channel, and we were kind of having a split audience, it's okay. But right now I'm right here, and I'm still fumbling with the software. Right. So the way it used to work, I used to set up an event, which was tied to Hangouts. But now I can't do that. So now I have to set up a go live now at the same time I'm going live with another piece of software that's tacked on to the Zoom. So, I'm getting rid of Hangouts. Actually, it became, a very habit, and I knew how to work that. So now it's about working the new space. Anyway, let me go on to the next question. Okay, same thing for Aaron. I'm more than sure that there is a great number of people still struggling to log in by now, but are unable to get through. Okay. Well, again, there's no event, right? So it only comes up when you go to, say, the channel, and it'll say live. So that's probably why there's. I was late in starting that, right? I went right to streaming, and that's why that live dashboard part, which I'm actually showing right here. So if I change the name on the screen right here, it says Frontlines down here on the middle left-hand side. If I put in something, what was that? Lightspeed was the name of the car. Let me go back. What is the car name? LightYear. That's the company. Yeah, okay, LightYear. So if I change the name on here, where'd it go? Live dashboard. Yeah, okay. LightYear. Solar car. Then it'll appear. It'll appear on the channel, which is over here. There it goes. See, Frontlines LightYear solar car. So anyway, so let me go back to the questions now. We'll continue on here. Okay, the next question. What is the exact description that you have for tonight's Dank Live show? I don't know. I haven't spoken to Tank about anything because I had the power outage yesterday, and then it's too. When the power came back on, it was way too late to call Tank. So I haven't spoken with him. So we'll see what's coming up shortly. Yes, I kind of got it. You didn't mean San, you meant Dan. I got that. All right. Okay. Okay, so Diana's saying she can receive YouTube notifications. Well, that's good. Well, you always check back. Whenever you're on the channel, just make sure you're subscribed and the notification bell is still on. I'm getting, some people saying, well, my notification bell is on, but I still didn't get the notification. Very strange to figure out what they're doing or not doing. Anyway. All right, so I guess we're at the end of the question phase here. We got 48 people, 20 likes. I'll give a like myself. We've kind of covered, the basics here. If anyone wants to come on, please come on. We'll have a conversation. Otherwise, we'll get back to Dank in about an hour and 20 minutes from now. We're doing Dank at 11. And I guess we have to come up with a new name. We started with GCR The Big Lie. And then we went to Dank Live. So now we'll see. What is it going to be called next? Any suggestions? Our chat group here, I'm sure you guys have some good suggestions, so think about a good name for the Dank show. I think this show, Frontlines, is a good name. QAnon Frontlines, where we go, one we go, all.love Frontlines. Question, so where should we expect the notification? Here on the Dan Lutz channel. Why change it? Well, your question is why changing is a little too broad. Be more specific, because we have a lot of changes and we're constantly having to adapt to things like the new software situation. The new software situation has the removing Hangouts from the system has stopped me from simulcasting, and so the other channel was meant to build up subscribers over there. So I wanted to we're getting 2,000 people viewing a video when we were started this concept of the other channel. So I wanted to get 2,000 subscribers over there, and then really just still focus over here, and then maybe start building up some other types of videos that are more about the frontline events that are going on, and tie that back into the website. That's the idea. But there's other changes. I also watched an episode with Jesse Ventura, and he's talking about Epstein, and they're kind of doing this as a news set up and back and forth, and talking about some digging that they did. I think it's good to watch if you guys want to look for that. I won't go find the link, but it won't be too hard for you to search on Jesse Ventura and Epstein. You'll get the video. That kind of was they were kind of just saying, and focusing on one thing I think is very important, is that if Epstein is a intelligence operative, it's 100% certain that this was a worldwide effort to basically get blackmail material on politicians, leaders, uh, industrialists around the world so that they could be blackmailed. So this is an important piece. Why I think in QAnon we had this description of what a keystone was and how it holds up the whole upper part of the archway. It kind of becomes a focal point. It can actually, support a lot more weight because of this keystone. And if Epstein actually ends up being the keystone that the QAnon was referring to, which I am tending to think is what's going on, it's because Epstein is tied into the intelligence. This shows the worldwide deep state government, the Five Eyes, all the other things that are tied into that. And if he goes down, it will take down the whole deep state. Literally the intelligence agencies, intelligence assets, right? These are the control mechanisms. They're blackmail material on everyone around the world. Another form of that espionage that was going on against citizens ties back to the hammer. Dave Janda was also doing some, brought back the reporters that reported on this, and also brought back on the generals that reported on the hammer as basically a secret system, a backup system, or not backup, but an alternative system for them to use. It was private to the Obama administration and Clapper, maybe Brennan too. And they talked about some of the evidence that was brought out, which was kind of interesting. And what they said is that they were specifically spying on a lot of Americans, but and political leaders. Someone that they were going after was John Roberts. Now, we all know that John Roberts flipped, right? He ended up saying that Obamacare was a tax. Instead of shooting down Obamacare, he supported it. With a very, basically doing somersaults to make it happen, twisting himself into shapes to make this into something it absolutely wasn't. Wasn't called a tax, wasn't voted on as a tax, and John Roberts just said, well, it's a tax, it's okay. So they had information on him. The other people that they were going after in this Hammer project was Trump. So, in fact, they had gone back many years looking at Trump as he was a threat to them. Why? Because they knew that he was not corrupted. And they only have control over the people that they have corrupted. We can see that there is a lot going on in this. So we're going to see this unfolding as this keystone gets knocked out of place. Okay, any more? Okay, Eric's saying just maintain Dan for Dank Live. Well, I appreciate that. I don't think a very imaginative name. So let's see if we can do a little bit more. Let's see. There's another question here. Retaining the Dank Live to allay further confusion. Well, you know what? Life's not fair. Well, we have a little bit of confusion. Just come to the channel. Check on if something's live at this time. That's the easiest way. I want to come up with another way of doing notifications. There are systems, but anyway. Right. Anything else? No. I think then we're good for now. Thank you for coming. Please go to the website www.g1wga.love and join us. Please contribute either in your posting in the forum or in by joining and paying $1.11 a month, $8.88 a month, or $99.99 a year. All those things are helpful. Diane's saying yes, Dan. What are you saying yes to? Diane has something to add. Okay. I'm waiting. When you go to the channel, it doesn't. It doesn't what? It doesn't show the events. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. That is a problem. But that is because the events were tied into Hangouts, and Hangouts is gone. So if I do an event, I can't live stream to it because they removed Hangouts. So all I can do now is go into the dashboard, and whatever I say there is as though it's like it's live, right? If I turn it on, I can't do it ahead of time, like 2 days or 3 days, because it's only live at that time. So I can do it like a half an hour before and post it, right? And it'll save the name. I did not do that today. That's why it still said dank when I just went on to it. It says whatever it last said, even though I already ended it. It's lousy now, I must admit. I mean, I wish it was a bit different for live streaming, but there are some other solutions. There's a $55 solution to this problem. That's $55 a month through Zoom, and I would be able to make remove all this information to the YouTube page by going live through Zoom, and I can't do that right now. And I'm even having trouble, with the screen sizes and things, and not being able to flip cameras. So, Leak Project does it ahead of time on Zoom. Yes, as I said, you pay $55 a month, and you will be able to solve this problem. And I can't pay $55 a month right now. I'm behind on bills. I haven't paid my Proton Mail email. Right, that's a yearly fee of about $60. So it's not that I wouldn't want to use it. I used to use that feature. I told Tank about it. He finally got it, and he's using it. Now, I'm working on this other project. The money has been delayed. For some reason, banks are not moving money. It was sent to me twice. So now we're going to resort to Western Union. And then I'm starting this other project. I got a couple projects that it will bring in money. I mean, I've been focused on not making money, right? So, but I have to change that, obviously. And that's part of what's going on here. My hope was that we would have had thousands of people in WWG1 WGA.love paying $1.11 a month, and that way we would have been able to pay for this and this and this, managed to grow it. But it's okay. We'll come back around, make money over here, come back and do this over here. We'll get there. Okay, so, with that being said, I will see you guys in about an hour. Bye-bye for now.